Laura's young side lover was throwing yet another breakup-related scene with her. She slid the divorce agreement across the table toward me, her tone frigid and businesslike, as if she were barking scheduling instructions at a subordinate. "Sign it. We're only putting on a show to calm the child down." I said nothing, scrawling my name slowly, stroke by stroke. When I turned to leave, the heavy carved wood door failed to latch shut. Boisterous laughter and chatter spilled out into the hallway. TSK. Look at Richard's temper. He really takes everything lying down. Laura's divorcing him to smooth things over for her outside lover, and he just signed without a single word. Another voice followed, sharp with undisguised mockery. What a spineless man. Laura knows exactly how to wrap him around her finger, making him jump through every hoop she wants. I kept silent, only tapping out a reply to a message that had just popped up on my phone. Asterisk, don't get stuck in the muck. Richard, come be with me. Asterisk. Okay. I typed. Okay. Right after I sent that reply, the start of chapter 1, the other party fired off several messages in quick succession. Before I could read them, voices drifting from inside pulled my attention back. Laura's voice rang out, lazy and domineering, every word cutting clearly through the air. You don't believe me? Then let's make a bet. I wager that within this month he won't dare be even half a minute late. He'll come crawling back to me begging for reconciliation. Stakes are 3 months of drinks. What do you say? Laughter erupted, mixed with the clinking of wine glasses. I kept walking, striding down the opulent carpeted corridor. I did not stop until I stepped outside the brightly lit villa, which had always felt like a gilded cage. My wife Laura had recently fallen for a spoiled young artist. She had rented him a high-floor, sun-drenched studio in the heart of the arts district, a space worth a fortune. Yet that young artist clung fiercely to his pride. Standing inside the artistic kingdom Laura had hand-built for him, he declared, I refuse to be the man who destroys another person's family. Laura found his posturing entertaining, and so their absurd performance dragged on. At her birthday party, she had been so eager to pose for photos with me. Back then, foolishly, I had thought her warmth was genuine. My heart light, I had awkwardly played along. Later, I stumbled upon a group chat tag on her phone, reserved exclusively for Ryan. The second time she humiliated me publicly was at a company meeting. She baselessly tore apart my proposals and hard work, letting the whole room laugh at me as if I were a fool. She then sent a clip of my public embarrassment straight to Ryan. See how insufferable he is? What an idiot. This time she wanted a divorce. I resolved to give it to her. My phone in my pocket vibrated once, then again. I paused and pulled it out. The screen's glow cut through the wintry night darkness. The sender was a contact saved simply as Fiona. Her message was brief. Richard, is this real? I truly believe it. A gentleman's word is his bond. My fingers tapped firmly across the cold screen. Once spoken, there is no turning back. ## Chapter 2. That afternoon, we drove to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Throughout the ride, Laura's mood was surprisingly buoyant. Her head swayed gently to mellow jazz playing in the car. When we stepped outside, frigid gusts swirled around us, carrying the sharp, expensive scent of her cedar and tobacco perfume. She looked faintly pale and arched an eyebrow, as though noticing my existence for the very first time. Didn't sleep well last night? How many times must I tell you, this is just a novelty act for the kid? Before she could finish her sentence, a velvet box slipped out of her coat pocket and snapped open upon hitting the ground. A bold, eye-catching avant-garde men's diamond ring lay exposed on the pavement. A flicker of embarrassment crossed Laura's features. She snatched it up, stuffed it back into her pocket, and cleared her throat with studied nonchalance. Let's go. Let's get this over fast. I have a lunch engagement. Inside the Civil Affairs Bureau, the process moved startlingly quickly. A staff member asked formally, "Is this divorce voluntary?" "Yes," I nodded. "Is your marital relationship confirmed to be irreparably broken?" "Yes," I nodded once more. "There will be a 1-month cooling-off period. Once it ends, both parties must appear in person to collect your divorce certificate." The official handed over the stamped receipt. The second Laura took hold of it, before we had even exited the service counter, she pulled out her phone to snap a photo. Almost simultaneously, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Ryan, whose familiar WeChat profile picture stared back at me. Beneath the photo, a line of text blazed harshly on the screen. *behave. Want to see what a divorce certificate looks like tonight? I'll keep it for you, asterisk. My fingertips turned icy. Without hesitation, I deleted the conversation. The next instant, a new message popped up from Fiona. Asterisk Concorde flight from Toronto to London is booked for the 3rd of next month. Don't grieve. I'll be waiting for you in Toronto. Asterisk. That night I dreamed of Laura. She was a young girl again with neat cropped short hair and bright eager eyes. Richard, how can your hands be so beautiful? You write so well, you must play the piano wonderfully too. That costly Steinway grand piano had been nothing more than background ambience for her cocktail party social life. What is the Koo family? From now on, everyone will answer to us. Her vows had sounded so loud and sure. In the end, though, she had swallowed the last remaining valuable assets of the Koo family through our marriage. Once I had mistaken all of that for love. We had been childhood sweethearts, inseparable, until the fire that burned down the old Koo family mansion. Overnight, I lost everything. Laura Lynn of the Lynn family took on the burden of caring for me, the orphan. Back then, drowning in despair, I saw her constantly at my hospital bedside. She assisted me through rehabilitation, sat beside me while I pored over financial reports, and defended me against cutting remarks in board meetings. Anyone who insinuated I was a useless man surviving off a woman would disgracefully vanish the very next day. Marriage had felt like the only escape from those suffocating years, the inevitable outcome of more than 20 years of mutual reliance. The day I earned my EMBA and took charge of the struggling Koo family enterprise, she burst into my study, chin tilted slightly upward. Mr. Koo, congratulations on your graduation. Shall we go get a marriage license? That will make everything official. We legally married that day. After losing all my close kin, I firmly believed family was life's greatest treasure, and Laura was my whole family. I centered my entire existence around our household, tending faithfully to her every daily need. In my dream, I could feel her warm fingertips sliding a ring onto my finger. She cupped my chin, her voice husky. Richard, this is what I wanted. Wait. The dream shattered before she could finish speaking. I woke engulfed by pitch-black darkness, heavy and oppressive against my chest. My phone vibrated on the pillow, its faint glow pierced the night. An MMS video arrived from an unknown number. I opened it. The camera shook. Ryan's youthful, arrogant face filled the frame, bare-chested, lying atop rumpled, pristine white bedsheets. The camera panned slowly downward. There she lay, worn out from sleepless nights. My stomach lurched violently. My fingers brushed across the screen. A deep, resonant voice echoed. Richard. I flinched as though burned. In the darkness, the phone's glow laid bare the caller ID, Fiona. ## Chapter 3. Fiona had once been my anonymous companion on the other side of a screen, during my darkest hours. I had joined an anonymous trauma support forum by chance. Her avatar was an abstract painting. For nearly 2 years, I had firmly believed the person behind the account was a young man grappling with anxiety. At first, she was as unyielding and unresponsive as stone, offering no reply to anything I shared. Yet there existed a quiet, shared sense of salvation between two kindred spirits. I sent snippets of my daily life persistently, spare cold sentences, ambient audio recordings, as if tossing bottled messages into a vast ocean. Then one day brief replies began to arrive. Thank you. Gradually we exchanged more. Over time, a bond almost like brotherhood grew between us. So when she initiated a voice call for the first time, hearing her clear, forceful female voice nearly made me drop my phone in shock. I'm so sorry. I always pictured you as a guy. Her tone remained steady. I hope I'm not disturbing you. It is 3 p.m. in Toronto right now. After that call, an odd sense of awkward distance made me instinctively pull away. I stayed away from the forum for close to a month. I returned only after Laura threw the gilded divorce agreement onto my desk. On the screen, Fiona's private message popped up. How have you been lately? My mind swirled with the word divorce. My fingers moved of their own accord across the keyboard. I'm getting divorced. I typed again. Fiona, I think I'm about to fall into the abyss once more. I had already lost the Koo family, my parents, and our ancestral home, reduced to ashes. Now Laura, whom I had once regarded as my one true love, was severing that final thread tying me to my past. I had not expected her reply to come so swiftly across the screen. Don't get stuck in the mire, Richard. Come be with me. At that exact moment, laughter and conversation seeped through Laura's office door, sharp and piercing. Richard Koo. Divorced from Laura, what value does he even hold? He is nothing but a dog Laura trained. Exactly. Laura's lazy, controlling voice drifted out. He will crawl on his knees to wherever I command, bringing me whatever I desire with both hands. I stared blankly toward the closed door, gazing at a figure both familiar and alien. My fingertips turned cold, my resolve hardening. I typed heavily onto my screen, "Okay." Fiona moved decisively. Shortly after my reply, a PDF landed in my inbox, Toronto Action Guide. The document laid out every practical task ahead of me, marked with priorities and deadlines. Strangely enough, the to-do list concluded with a long catalog of tourist attractions. At the very bottom, she had added a hand-typed note. Asterisk, people say the moon shines brighter at home than abroad. Scenery is all much the same, you know. You will regret it if you don't believe me. Asterisk. For some reason, those final 2 lines struck a chord deep inside me. For the first time in far too long, I smiled. I accepted her guide wholeheartedly and began following its itinerary. By day I sorted out my affairs, by night I packed my belongings. On the day I moved out of the penthouse, a message arrived from Laura. Asterisk, you moved out? Not even a phone call? Are you throwing a tantrum? Asterisk. She was touring Europe with Ryan. Right after that text came a photo taken from a luxury hotel terrace at night. Asterisk, this hotel's private cigar bar is excellent. I'll bring you here to try it sometime. Asterisk. My finger hovered over the block button. Thinking about the final settlement a month away, I held back. For the following 2 weeks, I functioned like an efficient machine, liquidating non-core assets that could be converted quickly. The most draining work was sorting through piles of asset documents and share certificates Laura had entrusted to me over the years. Each file felt like a heavy brick, recording piece by piece how the Koo family had been devoured, and how I had handed her the rope while wrapped in her illusion of protection. The night before our scheduled trip to the Civil Affairs Bureau, my phone lit up. It was Laura. She was back. Through the receiver, I heard her tense, confused tone. "Richard, have you moved out?" Chapter 4. Laura had long grown accustomed to my silence on the phone. She let out a soft laugh. "Richard, sometimes you really," she paused, searching for the right word. "Can you act more like a man and stop being so overly dramatic? It's irritating. I have told you hundreds of times, this is all just an act." Her tone was as casual as if discussing the weather. "How about this? Let us keep up the charade. Come with me to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow to collect the divorce certificate." I gripped my phone, fingertips cold. "Very well." On the other end of the line, mocking cheers erupted. I listened no further and ended the call. I sent her the Civil Affairs Bureau opening hours via WeChat. I woke early the next morning. Laura arrived fashionably late, dressed in a sharply tailored black cashmere coat that amplified her imposing aura. The divorce process went even smoother than before. Everything was finished in merely 5 minutes. Outside the service area, Laura appeared to be in high spirits. I tucked the certificate away and looked straight at her, my gaze calm and unwavering. "Laura, do you have time later?" She looked momentarily stunned. Ever since our public wedding, I had never addressed her directly by her given name. At work, she was always formally referred to as President Lin. A heartbeat later, her perpetually calculating eyes curved into a smile and she replied clearly, "Yes." No matter how cold, manipulative, and detached Laura had grown over the past year, I had never wished to erase every version of her from my past. I still remembered the young woman who had stood before me, the warm cup of water she had handed me amid the darkest days after the Koo family fell. I was grateful for those moments, genuine or otherwise, thankful for the care she had given, even if it had sprung from ulterior motives. So even after everything that had passed between us, I had no intention of slipping away like a coward. I wanted to give this relationship, and the memory of the woman who had once brought light into my life, a dignified closing. But reality did not go according to my plan. Just as we were about to head for the restaurant, her young lover sent her a message. Laura turned toward me smiling, saying urgent company matters required her attention, and we could talk some other time. That evening, heavy dark clouds rolled in. Sudden heavy rain hammered the ground. Thunder rumbled in the distance, followed by blinding lightning that washed over the dim room in a ghastly pale glow. Boom. My body stiffened. Vivid, searing flashes flooded my mind, roaring flames, thick smoke, my father's final gaze. I curled into a ball on the sofa, arms wrapped tight around myself, straining every nerve to fight back the terror and bodily tremors threatening to tear me apart. At that moment my phone rang. From the receiver poured blaring music, clinking glasses and wild, chaotic banter between men and women. Amid that dizzying background noise, I heard her voice, dripping with scathing contempt, sharp as a poison-dipped ice pick piercing my eardrums. Coup family heir? Ah, what a joke. Do you know what those years looking after him were like? Watching over a useless wreck who could barely speak? I grew so tired of it. If not for whatever scraps of wealth the Coup family still held, who on earth would bother coddling a frightened, useless heir? Marriage? You wonder why I married him so early? To officially seize whatever remained of the Coup family fortune for myself. As for him, she let out a shrill, mocking cackle. Boom. Another thunderclap exploded overhead, shaking the entire building. Her venomous words on the phone, the raging storm outside, and the destructive fire from my memories all collided, detonated by that single flash of lightning. Overwhelming humiliation and shame crashed over me like a tidal wave. Just then my phone lit up. Fiona was calling. Richard. Her voice came through the receiver, calm, clear, with strange penetrating power. Are you crying? I wanted to say no, to deny this final moment of vulnerability. But my throat felt sealed shut. I could produce nothing but ragged, broken breaths. Send me your location, she ordered, her tone firm and undeniable. I'm coming for you. ## Chapter 5. Once Laura was single again. A circle of second-generation elites, people close to Laura Lynn or hoping to curry favor with the Lynn family, threw a party titled Celebrating New Beginnings. They booked the largest VIP suite at the city's most exclusive luxury club. No one knew how late they partied. By the time many guests had drunk themselves senseless, the room lay in shambles, bodies sprawled across furniture in varying states of intoxication. Someone half-drunk scrolled through their phone and suddenly shouted, "Whoa, huge gossip. Check the trending topics. That mysterious Kim family heiress who's always abroad handling core business, Fiona Kim, she's quietly flown back into town. No way." Another guest rubbed their bleary eyes, slurring, "Isn't she stationed in Toronto? After her grandfather passed away, she barely ever came back. Always so elusive." I swear it's true. It's everywhere. The person shoved their phone in front of the crowd. Look, there's photographic proof. Good heavens, it really is her. Even through the screen, her aura is intimidating. Wait, there's someone beside her. Wow, they're standing so close. That must be her boyfriend. Looks like she brought him home to meet the family. Wait a second, this man, he looks so familiar. Someone nudged Laura, who had sat silently drinking in the corner, staring fixedly at her phone. Laura, look at the man beside Fiona. Doesn't he look like Richard? Laura had not actually gotten drunk, yet she paid little mind to others' gossip. How could that possibly be my ex-husband? She snatched the phone with impatience and scoffed. Richard. Her voice died mid-sentence. Her gaze locked onto the photo on the screen and she froze. The picture had been taken late at night at the airport VIP entrance beneath a huge black umbrella. A tall woman in a sharply tailored black trench coat stood there, her profile cold and refined, radiating imposing authority. Beside her, the man held the umbrella in one hand, chatting and laughing with her. Laura reacted as if burned. For pride's sake, she quickly regained her composure. Lots of ordinary-looking men resemble one another. This Kim heiress's taste is nothing spectacular anyway. The people around her echoed her words at once. Right, Laura's correct. Her taste really isn't anything special. Alone in the bathroom, Laura pondered. How could Richard possibly know Fiona Kim? Even her own mother treated Fiona with deference. They inhabited completely different worlds. This has to be a mistake. He had called her before, saying he needed to talk. He would never move on so quickly. She pulled out her phone, ready to dial, then glanced at the time displayed, 3:17 a.m. At this hour he ought to be asleep, but no matter what time it was, he always picked up her calls. Instead, the receiver returned a cold mechanical prompt. Sorry, the number you dialed is no longer in service. Please try again later. Ever since that devastating fire, I had rarely left the city. Under stress, I would be hurled straight back to that nightmarish moment of towering flames. Encountering entirely unfamiliar surroundings would plunge me into uncontrollable panic and speechlessness. Now I sat beside Fiona. Outside the private jet's windows stretched endless night and rolling cloud banks. Fiona was tall. Even seated next to me, the authority built from years at the top exuded invisible pressure. From getting into the car to boarding the aircraft, she spoke very little. When drivers or flight attendants addressed her, she replied only in the briefest phrases. Her voice crisp and cold, carrying unarguable authority. Her status was plainly extraordinary. Despite the late hour and heavy rain, reporters who had caught wind of her arrival swarmed around us. Microphones stretched toward us, chaotic shouts rising one after another. "Miss Kim, what brings you back to the country all of a sudden? Miss Kim, who is the man beside you? Miss Kim, what are the Kim Group's next moves?" Just as unease and regret threatened to overwhelm me, the woman beside me stirred. She turned slightly and pulled a packet of tea bags from her bag. A soft fragrance of lavender and chamomile, touched with honeyed sweetness, drifted outward. Memories surged back 2 years. Back on that anonymous forum, I had tried tirelessly to open Silent Echo's heart. *I found a special tea bag recently. It carries a subtle lavender chamomile scent. When I feel low, brewing a cup helps greatly. Would you like to try it? Send me your address. That had been her very first response to me, sending over an address in Toronto. Would you like some? Fiona's voice softened compared to earlier. She seemed less unapproachable than her imposing outward bearing suggested. Before I could nod or answer, she deftly picked up a tea bag between her slender fingers, placed it into a cup, and handed it to me. I slowly took the still warm cup and sipped. Instantly, every muscle in my body unwound, melting into that strange yet familiar sweetness. Chapter 6. I truly settled in Toronto, a city utterly foreign to me. Fiona arranged for me to stay in a penthouse apartment. Yet she was perpetually swamped with work. The large apartment often felt empty with only me inside. During my first week adjusting to the time difference, she rarely appeared for breakfast. One morning, as she elegantly cut her fried eggs, she spoke out of the blue. "Richard, what do you plan to do next?" Her question caught me off guard. Laura had never allowed me meaningful roles within the company. You get nervous and clam up. You will mess everything up, she had once told me, in a tone closer to condescending charity than genuine concern. Just stick to trivial work at your own firm or play golf at the club. No one cares about the finer details. But Fiona regarded me calmly. Your English needs to be rebuilt from scratch, and that will take time. Yet Toronto's Chinese-speaking community is vibrant, and opportunities are abundant. I believe this will not be out of reach for someone like you. Unconsciously, I tightened my hands resting on my lap, my knuckles whitening. Can I really do that? Repeated past rejections had left me doubting myself. Fiona lifted one eyebrow and offered a faint smile. It is never too late to learn a new language. Have faith in yourself. While learning English, I began working as a junior-level employee within Fiona's company, handling clients from the Chinese market. Studying and working. That long-forgotten sense of accomplishment and joy welled in my chest like warm spring water. This happiness felt so tangible I wanted to share it with the few friends I still kept in touch with. Excited, I logged back into my long-dormant WeChat account. Message notifications exploded instantly, flooding the screen until the app nearly froze. Top among them were messages from an acquaintance on the fringes of Laura's social circle. Richard, where have you vanished to? Laura has been frantically searching for you. She even called me. Reply quickly. Laura is furious. Laura was looking for me. On that night Fiona took me away, I had been on the verge of total collapse. I had handed over all follow-up matters related to Laura and our marriage to Fiona's staff. My old phone number and social media accounts had been deactivated. Fiona set me up with new encrypted contact details. Suddenly an incoming voice call request popped up. My finger hovered over the decline button, yet I accidentally answered. The next second, Laura's voice, boiling with suppressed rage, practically screamed into my ear. Richard, what on earth are you doing? Where have you gone? Do you still intend to attend next week's gala? Do you still want that anniversary gift? Laura, I said, surprisingly composed. We are divorced. Dead silence hung on the other end of the line, as if she had never expected me to cut her off so bluntly. I hung up without further hesitation. Barely a second after my screen went dark, notifications exploded again. Richard, I have told you countless times it was only an act. Are you so stupid you cannot see that? Send me your new number right now. Add me back on WeChat. Do you want to remarry me or not? Message after message arrived in her customary commanding tone. This time I did not hesitate. I selected delete contact and pressed confirm. Next, I blacklisted every contact connected to Laura, friends, business associates. At last, peace descended. The healing power of this new environment unfolded gently. Passing a sports goods store, I recalled Fiona mentioning her morning workout routine, so I bought a premium yoga mat and soft flexible fascia ball. Lately she came home more often. I guess she might work out, carrying my shopping bag upstairs. Sure enough, faint rhythmic music drifted from behind the door. As my key touched the lock, the door swung open. Fiona stood before me in a black training tank top and athletic shorts, beads of sweat gliding down her neck. Vitality radiated from her whole being. Tucked in her arms nestled a fluffy snow-white Maltese puppy. A puppy? Surprise washed over me, my thoughts scattering. The shopping bag slipped out of my hands onto the entryway floor. I reached out toward that soft trembling ball of fur. The little creature nuzzled affectionately against my palm. You brought it home? Why didn't you tell me? I asked in astonishment. It is a gift for you, she said, closing the door behind her, slightly breathless from exercise. I stared down at the puppy in awe. For me? Laura had always been allergic to animal fur. Pets had never been permitted inside our home. I had thought I would never own a dog in my lifetime. Joy bloomed inside my chest. At last I had my very own little dog. Here. These are also for you. Fiona bent down to pick up the yoga mat and fascia ball I had dropped, handing them over. I thought you might find them useful. She casually set them down on the counter, her eyes still crinkling with amusement as she watched me with the puppy. I held the warm little bundle in my arms and sank onto the sofa. Memories surfaced of the golden retriever I had owned as a boy. A birthday gift carefully chosen by my father, a symbol of my once carefree life. Holding this puppy now felt like anchoring my frayed heart. I glanced upward and saw Fiona playing idly with the gray-blue fascia ball. Post-workout relaxation had softened her sharp features, and a rare gentle smile curved her lips. Fiona, I murmured, watching her playful, almost childlike movements. Unthinking, the old phrase slipped out. You can use that to roll out your trapezius muscles. I stopped short. The air grew taut. Fiona. A low, warm voice washed over me. She had leaned in closer, a playful smile playing across her lips. Body heat from her workout rolled toward me. We stood dangerously near. My heart hammered wildly, threatening to burst. The puppy yelped and jumped off the sofa to hide. Her mint-scented lips drew near. A brief, forceful, possessive kiss landed like a burn. As our lips parted slightly, the dark, smoldering look in her eyes brought heat rushing to my cheeks. Richard, have you forgotten something important? My thoughts completely dissolved. Before I could respond, she kissed me again. This time the kiss turned soft and lingering, like spring rain soaking the earth. Moments later, her husky voice brushed my ear. Shall we go to the registry office today, or tomorrow? Chapter 7. That kiss left my head spinning. Glancing toward the darkening sky outside the window, I mumbled that we would go tomorrow. I never imagined she would move so swiftly. The next day she truly took me straight to City Hall. The official stamped our documents with a firm crimson seal, handing over 2 copies of our marriage papers. My heart fluttered slightly, yet far stronger was a light, giddy joy bubbling inside me. Those who have crawled out of the abyss can always recognize another survivor. The warmth of Fiona's fingertips lingered through the paper between our hands. This choice was right. On our drive back, the sunlight was perfect. Then my phone buzzed, sending a chill through me. An unfamiliar Toronto number. As soon as I answered, Laura's voice, sharp with malice and impatience, cut across the distance. Richard, so you ran off to Toronto to become that sick woman's lapdog, huh? Her tone scraped against my ears like sandpaper. It's been a month. Were you playing dead for? Have you had enough? I drew a deep breath of cool air, steadying myself. Laura, stop harassing me. Harassing? Do you imagine you have a life without me? She scoffed, every word cutting deep. Clinging to that sick woman as your lifeline? None of your business, I snapped. She howled, on the verge of exploding. You were mine in life, and you will be mine in death. Her voice dropped to a low snarl. Get back here right now or else. Beep. I ended the call decisively. My phone lit up immediately with a new message. Fine. You've grown wings now, haven't you? Go rot with that sick woman. Asterisk. I had never seen Laura's true nature laid bare so plainly, so vicious, so contemptible. Yet after a moment it felt almost predictable. She had openly carried on an affair during our marriage and shamelessly insisted our divorce was fake. What nobility could I ever expect from such a person? Only my lingering youthful sentiment had blinded me to the truth. That night, after a long lull, social media notifications chimed one after another. Even casual acquaintances messaged me. "Richard, what is going on between you and President Lin?" One screenshot showed Laura's latest social media post. An artistically framed photo bathed in ambiguous soft light captured Laura and young artist Ryan locked in an intimate embrace. Her caption was nothing but a heart emoji, practically a public announcement of their relationship. I saw no reason to explain myself to onlookers. I simply posted an unadorned photo of our divorce certificate cover, no caption attached. My university friends group lit up instantly. Asterisk. Wow, Richard, you finally woke up. Let's celebrate. We all knew Laura was toxic. When have her friends ever respected you? Asterisk. Asterisk. Exactly. She's a master manipulator. Constantly bringing up your PTSD, making you so tense you could barely speak at social events. Asterisk. Asterisk. Absolutely. You could be having a great time with us and the second she shows up or calls, you freeze up as if paralyzed. Asterisk. All those warning signs had been there all along. I had simply chosen to turn a blind eye. Later that evening, Fiona returned to the apartment, her assistant trailing behind, pushing two small, elegant Rimowa suitcases. "Pack your belongings. We need to head back home," she stated calmly. I struggled to process her words at first. "The marriage paperwork requires notarization back in our home country," she explained. "And furthermore, I want you to meet my grandmother and other key family members formally." Almost instinctively, a question nearly spilled out. So soon, so formal? As my friends had noted, Laura had never brought me to any core family gatherings, let alone allowed her powerful relatives to formally receive me. "Richard." Her gaze was steady and gentle, voice low and clear, carrying unshakable resolve. "You are the most important person in my life. Naturally, I wish to introduce you to my family and friends." A strange warm surge washed over my chest, even my fingertips tingled. This was what a healthy, mutually respectful relationship felt like. Fiona needed to handle urgent business in the city first, so our first stop upon returning was there. Fiona kept a low profile. She naturally took my hand, our fingers interlaced. Surrounded by her assistants and bodyguards, we walked steadily toward the VIP passage. Through intentional and accidental exposure over time, I had learned exactly who Fiona was. The brutal Kim family inheritance dispute more than 10 years prior had rippled far beyond an ordinary family feud, dominating business headlines for months. Its twists and turns read like a corporate thriller. Back then, everyone assumed that with the Kim patriarch gravely ill and multiple uncles coveting power, the victor would be a seasoned elder. No one anticipated that the person who would seize control would be a young woman fresh out of an elite overseas business school, Fiona. Even more astonishing, within just a few years of taking charge, she expanded the Kim family empire to unprecedented heights. I had certainly heard her name and her achievements in the past, yet I had been too young then. By the time she shifted her focus overseas, I had lost track of her. She changed into formal business attire and headed straight for Kim Group's downtown headquarters to tend to official duties. Meanwhile, I stayed at the hotel, continuing my English studies and familiarizing myself with lower-level company operations to prepare for future work. Late in the evening as I finished studying, a message arrived from Fiona. Asterisk. I have sent over several sets of clothing for you to select. They used rough measurements of your size given time constraints. They ought to fit. Tomorrow I will take you to meet important family friends. Do not be nervous. Asterisk. My heart skipped a beat, then raced. Several sets was a massive understatement. When I returned to the suite's living room, I felt as though I had stepped inside a luxury showroom. Assisted by a stylist, I tried on outfit after outfit, adjusting and pairing. In the mirror, features Laura had once dismissed as dull and unimposing now radiated quiet, restrained elegance thanks to thoughtful cuts and styling. We kept selecting until deep into the early morning hours. In the end, I settled on a navy wool blend suit, clean-cut, sharp yet refined, understated but dignified. Only once I finalized my choice did I realize Fiona had not returned all night. After 10 years away, she was personally overseeing headquarters operations, and I could only imagine how swamped she was. The following evening I changed into the suit. The stylist fixed my hair and touched up my complexion lightly. Staring at my reflection, I barely recognized myself. No longer was I the man existing only in Laura's shadow, perpetually overlooked. Right as I finished getting ready, Fiona's message arrived perfectly timed. The driver is waiting for you out front. Short and to the point. ### Chapter 8. Evening. The air smelled of osmanthus blossoms. The car wound down a narrow alley and halted before an ornate iron gate overgrown with vines. This was Fiona's grandmother's old elegant residence, hosting a family banquet tonight. Just as I prepared to step out, my phone rang. Laura's number showed on the screen. I hung up immediately. She called again. I hung up once more, then decisively blacklisted her. The car pulled up before the main house in the courtyard. As I opened the door, the aroma of food and the sound of laughter drifted toward me. Yet the moment I stepped onto the stone pathway, I spotted a familiar figure in the shadows of the side corridor. Laura. Dressed in a striking rose-red gown, she paced agitatedly, trying to reach someone on her phone. I ignored her and walked straight toward the main hall entrance. Suddenly she snapped her head upward. Shock and anger froze across her face. She straightened, her high heels clicking loudly as she blocked my path. Her eyes glistened faintly red, her voice turning shrill. "Richard, what are you doing here? Didn't you claim you were cutting ties with me?" Sarcasm dripped from every word. "Oh, you heard about this gathering and decided to crash it? Nice try." She held out her hand, adopting a condescending posture. Fine. Making a good impression matters. Take my arm. Let's walk in looking presentable. I will smooth things over with my mother and sister for you. The absurdity of the situation washed over me. I took a deep breath, completely ignoring her, and stepped aside to go around. She froze, then hurried forward and grabbed my arm. "Stop right there. Are you deaf?" Laura's voice cut sharp through the tension, commanding. "Today it is close family, friends, and major company clients. Show some propriety. Go inside, stay quiet, smile. Do not embarrass yourself." She tried to loop her arm through mine, her forceful grip catching me off guard. "Come on, hold my arm. Let everyone see." I stopped short and spun around, my gaze ice cold. "Laura, I am not here for you." Her face flared as though I had struck her. "Huh? Not here for me? Where do you get this high and mighty attitude? Without me, you would never be standing here." Before she could finish speaking, the grand hall doors swung open, spilling warm golden light into the corridor. Inside, the family banquet was in full swing, the atmosphere classic and cozy. All eyes were not fixed on the kind-faced Kim matriarch seated in the main seat, nor her modest mother and capable younger sister nearby. All attention centered on Fiona Kim, who stood casually beside the main sofa. She wore a cream cashmere sweater and black pencil skirt, her hair loosely tied in a bun. She conversed with two elderly ladies, relaxed yet authoritative, effortlessly drawing every gaze toward her. The older women looked to her with clear trust. "Look." Laura's voice was thick with bitterness as she tugged my arm. "That is Fiona, our company's key client leader, the backbone of the Kim family. What are you spacing out for? Go inside. Wait for her. Richard." Fiona's voice rang out clear, carrying natural authority. Her gaze turned toward the entrance, and conversation in the hall fell abruptly silent. Every pair of eyes, kind, confused, reserved, probing, turned toward us. Fiona's lips curved into a faint smile as she nodded toward the elders. She glided across the parted crowd toward me. She stopped one step away, her gaze steady and gentle. She held out her hand, took mine, and led me to stand beside her. Her shoulder brushed lightly against mine, silent support. Her eyes lingered seriously on my face before she addressed the entire assembly. She looked toward the smiling matriarch, her surprised mother, and her sharp-eyed older sister. Her voice was steady and clear, a declaration echoing across the room. "Grandmother, mother, uncles, respected elders." She paused briefly. "Allow me to make a proper introduction." She turned toward me, eyes bright, and squeezed my hand tightly. "This is Richard. My husband. We just obtained our marriage certificate." Deep silence blanketed the room. The Kim matriarch stood up, her smile blooming bright. Excitement colored her voice. "Oh my goodness. Fiona, what wonderful news. You have told me about him before." She waved me forward enthusiastically, eyes fixed on me. "Richard, dear boy. Come here, let grandmother have a good look at you." I always said Fiona has excellent taste. So steady and composed. The room erupted in congratulations and blessings. At the edge of all that warmth, Laura's face blanched pale. After the initial shock came overwhelming humiliation and rage. Laura's mother, holding a teacup, froze mid-air, her smile rigid. Her eyes settled on her daughter, a mixture of disappointment and frustration plain to see. Her older sister frowned, shot Laura an accusing glance, then quickly looked away in discomfort. While joyful laughter filled the rest of the room, the Lynn family corner sat trapped in frigid silence. Fiona and I returned to the family estate in the capital. The notarization procedures were tedious, yet we collected our official documents without delay. On one free day we made breakfast together and tidied the rooms. She shared pieces of her past. Her parents had passed away early. Her younger brother Samuel had tragically fallen to his death at age 8. The remaining relatives maintained distant, polite relations. She had once been in a relationship that ended in betrayal. For a long time afterward, she had grown weary of romantic connections. By chance she joined that trauma support forum, where our story began. Part of it stemmed from my profile picture, which reminded her of her late little brother. Half a month after we registered our marriage, I had still not initiated intimacy. I was unsure whether I simply did not know how to begin, or whether we needed more time together. Nights spent in the same bed slowly shifted our atmosphere. She tried to draw closer, yet hesitation marked her movements. I wondered if her restraint was intentional. But when her kiss arrived, it was warm and urgent, genuine and unmistakable. With our marriage certificate in hand, emotional union felt all the more meaningful. I noticed her lost in thought. "What are you thinking about?" Before she could reply, I rolled over and pulled her into my embrace. She shook her head, evading the question, and her lips descended onto mine once more. Her kisses grew deeper, longer. "I merely want to give you more time to adjust," she murmured huskily. Warmth flooded my chest. "Fiona," I whispered resolutely, "I think I love you." Without waiting further, I tilted my head and kissed her deeply. The night slipped away and we only rested at dawn. Chapter 9. Lately, fortune had turned sharply against Laura. After the humiliation at the family banquet, her mother reprimanded her, her sister shunned her, and nearly all her influence within the company was stripped away. She spent her days with the artist, yet all her resentment was directed toward me. She secretly hired writers to fabricate smear pieces about Fiona, painting her as a homewrecker and labeling me a gold digger climbing the social ladder. Beneath Fiona's rare financial interview posts, vague hostile comments began appearing. So-called business queen, yet supposedly single behind closed doors? Aggressive takeovers and she is the third-party homewrecker. Fiona paid it no mind, yet the slander sat heavy like a bone stuck in my throat. One day Fiona was tied up with urgent company work, wrapping up preparations for our return to Toronto. I was packing bags inside the apartment when loud, raucous shouting erupted outside the windows. My husband Richard and I were childhood sweethearts, 20-plus years of love destroyed by a homewrecker's interference. Look at these photos, shots of Fiona shielding him at the airport that were deleted all over the internet. For years she pretended to be a fellow trauma survivor to get close to my husband. She is the third party. My blood boiled. It was Laura. She had brought a crew of internet influencers and blocked the apartment building entrance. She screamed into her camera, her makeup perfectly arranged, playing the heartbroken victim whose love had been stolen. The Kim family controls everything. I demand justice. I want my husband to tell the truth. Rage and protective instinct drowned out my reason. I grabbed the stack of evidence I had prepared beforehand and stormed downstairs. The front door flew open. Laura's face twisted with surprise and malice. I strode forward and slammed the thick stack of papers hard against her. The documents scattered everywhere. "Laura," my voice trembled with anger. "Look at yourself. Where do you get the audacity to twist the truth like this?" I picked up several top-page sheets, screenshots of her boastful, explicit chat exchanges with Ryan. I hurled them back toward her. "Look at the mess you have made. Do not dare sully the phrase childhood sweethearts. You do not deserve it." Then I pulled out my phone, cranked the volume to maximum, and played the drunken rant she had delivered over the phone. Coup family heir? What a joke. All those years watching over him, a useless wreck who could barely speak. I grew sick of it. If not for what little wealth the Coup family still held. Laura's color drained completely. Her victim act shattered entirely, leaving only terror and disgrace. "Turn it off. Turn it off," she shrieked, lunging to snatch my phone. Fiona's security team arrived promptly, dispersing the crowd and wiping the livestream content from the internet. Yet the storm she had unleashed would not vanish. What truly spread were Ryan's arrogant chat screenshots, proof of Laura lavishing money on him, mocking and belittling me. Ryan's artist persona collapsed completely. He had falsified his background, lived in mansions bought by the Lin family, wore expensive gifts from them, and used the persona of a wealthy single heir to flirt with other rich young women. Fiona had never moved directly against Lin family business interests before, but Laura had crossed her line. She had publicly defamed Fiona and hurt the person Fiona cared for. Fiona required no personal intervention. Kim Group's legal and PR departments jointly released a carefully worded, fully substantiated statement. Kim Group and all affiliated enterprises are immediately terminating all partnerships with Laura and any entities under her name. We reserve full rights to pursue legal action for defamation and reputational harm. This statement delivered a fatal blow to Laura's business career. Shortly afterward, Laura's mother called. Her voice sounded weary and pleading. "Richard, we failed to raise her properly. For old friendship's sake." I cut in calmly, tone distant. "I remember the kindness the Lin family showed my family after my parents' passing. But as the Lin family wished, I merged all remaining Ku family assets into the Lin family enterprise long ago. I owe the Lin family nothing. I owe Laura nothing. The past is finished. I can do nothing more." As originally planned, Fiona and I prepared to fly back to Toronto. At the city airport, light drizzle chilled the air. Chaos erupted by the VIP lounge entrance. Laura burst inside, disheveled. Her expensive outfit was muddy and damp. Wet hair clung to her pale face. The polished socialite aura was gone entirely. "Richard! Richard!" she screamed, stumbling toward me. She slipped and crashed to her feet before me. She struggled to lift her head, eyes filled with despair and frantic pleading. "Please do not leave. Please do not go." A few steps away, Fiona watched with cold indifference, only disdain in her gaze. Bystanders pulled out phones, recording this high society drama. Laura clutched tightly onto my suitcase handle, voice hoarse and desperate. "Listen to me. This is all a misunderstanding. That recording, Ryan secretly made it, not me. I knew nothing of it. I was drunk, it was nonsense. How could I truly think you were annoying? My marriage to you was real. I truly wanted to spend my whole life with you. Everything I said to Ryan was stupid. He provoked me. The divorce was fake, just an act. Richard, it is all misunderstandings." I looked down at her calmly. "It is always someone else's fault. Someone else pushed you into that bed. Every word belittling me, humiliating me, treating me like a burden and a joke. Those words came from you, not some evil spirit possessing you. Laura Lin, you always assumed Richard could never survive without you, without the Lin family's protection. That is why you thought you could trample over me, mock my weaknesses, crush my self-worth. It was your only way to feel superior within your own miserable life, was it not? Within the Lin family, real power belonged to her capable older sister. Laura had always been a peripheral figure, a spoiled second-generation spender. Perhaps her greatest achievement in life had been taking control of the broken, helpless version of me. Let go, Laura. My voice was weary yet resolute. For the sake of that long-faded old sentiment, do not make this ending uglier than it already is. Her grip on the suitcase trembled violently as if burned. She released the handle with a defeated sigh. I took my suitcase and turned away without hesitation. Behind me, Laura's heart-wrenching sobs were swallowed by airport announcements and rushing footsteps. Chapter 10. After that, I did not see Laura for a very long time. I did not actively seek news of her, yet occasionally through old friends still plugged into local circles, I heard scattered tidbits about her and Ryan. Ryan's true character was fully exposed, causing a public stir. The multiple wealthy young women he had emotionally and financially deceived demanded repayment of money. As for Laura, her foolish choices left her situation pitiable. She had dragged down her parents' business interests, and the Lin family completely disowned her. All credit cards were frozen. Her properties, vehicles, jewelry and valuables were confiscated. She was driven out of the Lin family mansion, truly becoming a penniless fallen heiress. The Lin family insisted she fend for herself. Rumors circulated that the once lavish Lin family's second daughter now hesitated long before buying a bottle of wine at the supermarket. She budgeted strictly, renting cheap accommodation and buying only necessities. Meanwhile, my own career progressed remarkably smoothly. Drawing on my expertise, I started from the absolute bottom within the company. I worked through entry-level positions step by step and gradually took charge of small projects. My English improved, and daily communication no longer posed any difficulty. During my first spring festival in Toronto, Fiona skipped conventional Chinese community gatherings and arranged a special trip to Provence. Winter in Provence had lost lavender's famous purple bloom, yet it unfolded a vast wild beauty all its own. We rode horses galloping across wide plains against sharp, refreshing wind. At night we stayed in an ancient stone farmhouse. Fire crackled warmly in the hearth. Wrapped in thick wool blankets, we sat out on the terrace gazing upward at brilliant stars. Every star up there, Fiona's voice sounded deep and soft in the night stillness, once lit the path for people we loved. And they will light our path forward too. I leaned my shoulder against hers, drinking in that rare tranquility and warmth. Fiona once had a younger brother, Samuel, 10 years her junior. He used to call himself a little prince from another planet, tasked with bringing happiness to his sister and protecting her. Fate had been cruel to that little prince. He lost both parents young. When he was 8 years old, he begged Fiona to make him tea. Fiona told him, "Grown-ups drink tea. Little boys only get water." Shortly afterward, Fiona was besieged by ruthless plotting uncles, worn thin by endless power struggles. One day Fiona lost her brother forever. She was left with no immediate family left. That cup of tea was never shared with him. Years later, on that anonymous trauma support forum, a user whose profile picture eerily resembled her late brother sent a friend request. The username: "The boat has sailed beyond 1,000 peaks. *Hello. May I add you as a friend? I would like to talk. The weather is nice today. Hope you are feeling well. Another day has passed. Still hoping we can connect as friends. *" Fiona told me later that back then, she found the boat has sailed beyond 1,000 peaks overly energetic, like a perpetually bright little sun. Yet those persistent friend requests were like stones dropping into still water. Eventually she accepted. She watched the stranger joyfully share tiny fragments of daily life day after day: sunlight outside a window, small roadside blossoms, random old songs, photos of latte art. Those simple, life-filled snippets became faint yet steady light piercing her closed, cold world, burdened with guilt and self-blame. Over time, through the screen she felt that gentle, resilient care. An almost impossible thought took root in her heart. Could this person be a gift sent by my brother? Someone to light my way while I grieved and endured endless loneliness? But at that time, the boat has sailed beyond 1,000 peaks belonged to another woman as her husband. Now, standing inside the studio, Fiona's voice held the faintest tremor. She turned toward me. "You are my husband." She walked to the window, gazing up at the brightest star in the night sky. Her voice softened into a sigh. "Do you think Samuel truly sent the most precious gift in the world to my side? Does he forgive me for being such a failing older sister?" I gently took her cold hand and pulled her into my embrace, kissing the tears sliding down her cheek. "He never blamed you. He has always been that little prince wanting to protect his sister, an angel descended to earth. He saved me and guided me to you, fulfilling his wish, to watch over you so you would never be alone." Fiona trembled slightly in my arms. She clung tighter as if trying to merge into me. Her voice was muffled against my neck, mixing unprecedented vulnerability with firm resolve. "Richard, you are the light I waited for through endless darkness. I love you so deeply. Life's greatest regret is giving a sincere heart to the wrong person, wasting time mired in mud. Life's greatest blessing is to meet someone who knows how to cherish you." After enduring countless scars, two souls lighting each other's way, we held each other tight. Starlight streamed softly through the window. It felt as though the forever 8-year-old little prince sat upon the moon, smiling reassuringly down at his beloved older sister.